Okay, so these are the 6 homework problems that we didn't work out in class that you wanted to see explained. So these are 6. The first one that you requested was number 24. So I'm going to go ahead and add a 1 under the 2. And then what I'm going to do is figure out what my common denominator is going to be. And my common denominator is going to be the x plus 1, the x, and then the 1 is a common factor in everything. So my least common denominator is going to be x times x plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and over to the side, I'm going to write each one of the individual fractions. So here's the first one. Then I have x plus 1 over x. And then I'm going to have the last one, 2 over 1. I'm going to go ahead and write next to each fraction the common denominator. And then I'm going to take a look at what's in the current denominator to see what's missing. So for the first one, I can see that it's missing x. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by x, giving me a new numerator of x squared. In my second fraction, I can see it's missing the x plus 1 in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply that to the top and the bottom. Now notice over here, when I get my new numerator, I need to FOIL that. So when I FOIL it, I end up with x squared. Outside gives me 1x, inside gives me 1x, so plus 2x plus 1. And then lastly, it's missing both pieces, so I'm going to multiply, and I need to multiply it by x times x plus 1. I'm going to distribute it, so I'm going to multiply it by x squared plus x. And then when I multiply it with 2, I end up with 2x squared plus 2x. I now need to put all this together because this second fraction here is being subtracted. So my first fraction is x squared, and then the bottom is the same for all. So I'm just going to write one large fraction. So my second fraction right here, I need to distribute this subtraction sign to each one of my terms. So this will become minus x squared minus 2x minus 1. And then lastly, the yellow, I'll just write the numerator there, and it becomes plus 2x squared plus 2x. So now I need to go through and add up my like terms. Notice these two are going to cancel. I don't have anything to add to the 2x squared, so I'm going to go ahead and write that. So this one's gone. Then I can see that there is nothing here to add to that. So minus 2x, and then negative 1 plus 2 is 1. I still have this in the denominator. Next thing I need to do is try to see if the numerator can be factored. Okay, one thing, when I put in this last yellow part, for some reason the x did not write in here. So notice here, my x squared term canceled. So let me fix this. So not only did the first two x squareds cancel, this negative 2x plus 2x is also gone, leaving me with only minus 1. So this would be my final answer. I can't factor. The numerator is not the difference of 2 squares. So that one is finished. The next problem you wanted to see was number 26. So again, I need to find a common denominator here. So I can add a 1. So notice my common denominator is going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. Notice the first fraction is missing both. So 2 times x minus 3, x plus 3. I need to FOIL and distribute. The second fraction, the numerator is only missing the x plus 3. So if I take that, and then I could distribute x, and it'll be a negative x to an x plus 3. And the last fraction, the negative 1, and what it's missing in the denominator is x minus 3. So now, these are all what I need to do to get my new numerator. So I'll FOIL this first and then distribute the 2, or I could distribute the 2 first. So this would give me 2x minus 6, and then I need to FOIL it with this one. So this is going to create my new numerator. So 2x squared, and then outside is going to give me plus 6x. Inside is going to give me minus 6x, and last will give me 18. For this one, it'll become negative x squared minus 3x. Here it's going to be minus x plus 3. So let me put all this together. So 2x squared, this will cancel, minus 18 minus x squared minus 3x minus x plus 3. And the denominator is x minus 3, x plus 3. I now need to simplify the numerator. So notice I have a 2x squared minus x squared. So this can give me x squared. So these are used. Now I'm going to look for my x terms. I have a negative 3 and a negative 1, giving me negative 4x. And then the negative 18 plus 3 is minus 15. For the denominator, you can leave it factored, or you can try and you can multiply it if you wish. So either answer here, if I FOIL that denominator, it is going to give me x squared minus 9. So either answer I would accept. The next one you wanted to see was number 33. So for each parentheses, I am going to find a common denominator within. So over here, I'm going to change the 1 into a over a. So this fraction will be a plus b over a, and this will be minus a over a. So when I go ahead and try to make one big fraction here, notice the a's cancel. So for my first parentheses, this will simplify to b over a. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing, a over b, change the 1 to b over b. So this fraction will become a plus b over b. I now need to see what I can cancel or simplify. I'm multiplying this, so I'm going to simplify the b's, become 1s, and then final answer here is just a plus b over a. So I'm going to do numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. The next one we wanted to work out is number 34. I'm going to do the same thing that I just did, and I'm going to find a common denominator within each parentheses. So this will be the common denominator for the first parentheses. So this first fraction, this y, is missing y plus 1 because it's got a 1 there. And then over here it's minus 2. And then the denominator is y plus 1. Over here, I'm going to change the 1 into y plus 2 over y plus 2, and this one stays like this. All right, so now I'm going to distribute the numerator on this first one. This will become y squared plus y, and now y squared plus y minus 2 over y plus 2. It's being multiplied, and over here I'm going to get y plus 1 over y plus 2. Notice I can factor the top of this fraction. I'm going to factor this into y plus 2, y minus 1. Let me fill in everything else again. Now I'm going to look for things to cancel. Notice I can cancel a y plus 2 and a y plus 2, a y plus 1 and a y plus 1, leaving me with y minus 1 as my answer. The next one was number 35. Again, I need to find a common denominator. It's going to be both of them for this one. So this one's missing an m, and this one's missing an n. So the new numerator here is going to be n squared minus m squared minus n squared over mn divided by, and again, same thing here, the denominator is going to be mn. This one's missing the n, this one's missing the m. Now, when I go to divide, remember we do a keep, flip, change, or a stay, change. This will stay. Actually, I could factor this. This is the difference of two squares. So I'm going to factor this into m plus n and m minus n over mn. I'll flip this to the reciprocal. I'm going to write this in ABC order. I'm going to flip this and put the m and then the n. So notice what will cancel here, the mn's, and then also the m plus n. So this will leave me with my final answer here of m minus n. And the last problem that you requested to see was number 38. So for this one, I need to factor this denominator, and this I could put a 1 here. So when I factor this, this will turn into 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1. It's the difference of two squares. Notice this is now my common denominator. So the first fraction is missing everything. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1. The second fraction is only missing the 2x plus 1. So 2x and 2x plus 1. And again, it's got the same denominator. The last fraction has everything, so let me just rewrite it. Now I need to simplify my numerators. So I'm going to FOIL the top of this one. So when I FOIL this, it's actually going to give me what was in the bottom of this one. So it's 4x squared minus 1. This one I need to distribute. So let me go ahead and start a continuous numerator. So 2x times 2x will give me positive 4x squared, and 2x times 1 is 2x, and then minus the 8x squared. All over the 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1. So now what I need to do is combine my like terms that are in the numerator. So when I add 4x squared plus 4x squared is 8x squared minus 8x squared, and everything's gone. Then I have left 2x minus 1. And then in the bottom, remember, we have 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1. I can simplify this, and I can cancel out the 2x minus 1's. Now, remember, when you're canceling, a 1 is left behind. So the simplified answer here is 1 over 2x plus 1. So that concludes the problems that you wanted to see from 6-6 homework.